Hey guys, how are you? It's been a little bit of a while, but I am here to share with you today my everyday foundation routine. And it's changed a little bit. It's a little bit different than what I've been doing in the past, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So, I am going to share with you kind of a backstory. So, for the past, I don't know, like 3 or 4 weeks, my family has been sick with like everything. My son's first year of school was this year, and he just is dragging everything home, and we are just really feeling it this year. So we've had a lot of kind of time where I wasn't able to film or I wasn't able to work as much on camera because either I wasn't feeling well or my kids weren't feeling well. So I don't like being idle. So during that time I really spent time doing some research. Current makeup trends, what are people liking? What is the most popular way of doing makeup these days? I like to keep myself abreast of these things, so that's what I did. And it used to be that it was really that full coverage, highlight and contour, you know, very made up way. And there's, you know, that still is beautiful and there's still a call for it, but I am finding that people are more gearing towards skin-like makeup. Makeup that looks like skin. Makeup that looks natural, that enhances your beauty and doesn't so much mask things. I don't want to say that, but I do. Less of a heavy coverage, more of a light coverage. And I think what I hear from my customers most is I'm afraid of using cream products because I'm so afraid that I'm going to look too heavily made up, that it's going to be too heavy. So I started playing with the brushes I had in my kit, and then kind of branched out from that into my freelance kit and started looking at what I had that was maybe outside of the box. And I came up with this brush that is very similar to Maskcara Beauty's BBF brush. I will put an insert of that brush here. Maskcara Beauty brushes are by far my most used brushes. I use them in my freelance kit. I use them personally. They're solid brushes and they have a 12-month warranty, so they're really great. But this brush is as close as I had available to me at that moment. So I have been using it, and it is giving me the most light-handed, targeted application that I have done in a really long time, and I'm loving it. And for the first time, and I don't know how long, my husband commented on my makeup, which he usually doesn't. So I'm going to share it with you today. This is a Real Techniques, I think it's a contour brush. It's just a tapered, fluffy brush. It's not heavily, densely packed. And at first glance, I kind of thought this probably isn't going to work, but it does, and it's exactly the same shape as that BBF brush. This one is not double-ended like I'd prefer, but it is, in a pinch, not too bad. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into this application. I'm using my Maskcara Beauty palette. I use a hack stack size for my personal. So up here, I'm going to just show with you, in case any of you are new and are not familiar with these products, this is my color correcting shade. These are all foundation shades. I'm just going to put them in certain spots so I'm not getting a very cakey, heavy, layered look. So color corrector is the shade Sandy. This is my contour shade. It's olive. It's a little bit of a warmer contour. And this here is Mango, and I'm using that to color correct the blue under my eyes. It's very orange in pigment, and we know that orange is complementary to blue, and that's what cancels out our blue. And then right here, I'm pretty much to the bottom of the barrel on that one is White Peach. You can see that my jaw is slightly less pigmented than my cheeks and some other portions of my face, so why would I put a darker color there? Doesn't make sense. And then under here I have my concealer and a lip and cheek option. This is Saffron. So I'm just going to get into it and I will show you what I'm doing. So I'll take my first shade, this Sandy color. These are again all cream products, and I'm going to take my Real Techniques brush in this case, and I'm kind of going to address my redness. Now my technique is going to be slightly different than the rest of my face for my redness because it requires a little bit more coverage. I'm just going to kind of pat it on, and you'll just see I'm going to build that coverage. I'm not picking up much, but I'm going to build it. Now this is a much darker color than my skin tone, but we know darker pigment makeup tends to camouflage large pores, which I have across my mask, and darker pigments. Now I'm being really targeted here. Now when I was using a larger, more foundation dense brush, I was kind of covering a larger area. With this, I'm covering just where I need this color, so I'm not pulling any of this warm tone. See how I have this green here? I have a lot of greens and yellows around my mouth, and when I'm not carrying these darker colors down to this area, I'm actually getting a less warm and more targeted color correction. So I'm gonna just start kind of swirling it. Like I said, I'm not really putting a lot of product on, but you can see I've made a huge difference in the redness on my face. This is gonna help your tins last longer. They're all $14 with free shipping, and they're customized to you. So I'm just kind of patting it and then swirling it in and really doing a good job of targeting where I'm red. Now you can do fuller coverage. You can really, you know, kind of press this into the skin. You can use different brushes. It's really very customizable. Not only the colors, but the way you apply it. But this, I'm telling you, has just been so beautiful on me and just so skin-like and natural. And I don't think I've gotten as many compliments on my makeup lately than I have since I've started doing it this way. My chin is heavily red, so I tap a little bit into this one and a little bit into this one, just to create a different color, because I have such a deep redness there. All redness is not created equal. And as I get older, I'm finding I have deeper redness. That's the kind of redness that has texture, that has veins, broken capillaries. I'm just gonna build up the coverage there. I'm not putting too much of that sandy down here because, like I said, it gets a little bit lighter there, and I don't want darkness there. You can see already it's really done a big difference for my redness, and I'm not adding a lot of coverage. This doesn't feel like makeup to me. It doesn't feel like there's anything on my skin. So I'm really just barely tapping into the tin and just kind of buffing it to where I need it. So for those of you who've messaged me and had color matched by me, can I do this with my own brushes? The answer is maybe. It depends on what brushes you have. Real Techniques brushes are decent brushes as far as quality go, so it's really not that much of a reach here. Will it work with like an e.l.f. brush? I don't know. I don't really have any, so I can't try it. But if that's something that worries you when thinking about trying this makeup, don't let it. We will work with what you have if that's what you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to take that color corrector, that mango, and I'm just going to tap it under my eyes really lightly, or more sweep, I suppose. I don't have a terrible amount of blue, but I do want to make sure I color correct the blue that I have. And then I'm really dark red above my brows, which I've already filled, so I'm just going to be mindful of not getting any product in that area. But I am going to use that same sandy color to kind of get that redness out of there. I use a very minimal amount of product on my forehead because I have a really dry forehead. I'm using a bit of a lighter color up here. And this goes a lot faster when I'm not explaining what I'm doing. So now I'm going to take that lighter color that I really need to get a new tin. It's called White Peach, and I'm going to put it on the brush and buff it along my jawline, because as you can tell, my jaw and my neck are lighter. So this is going to help us keep everything cohesive, and you don't have that line of demarcation from your neck to your jaw. We're just buffing it all in so there's no lines. Everything's going to be really seamless. Okay. I'm not putting coverage over my lids because I am going to prime them and do eyeshadow in another video. Now, I do like to take my sponge. There's such light coverage here that I don't need to pick up excess, but I do like to press my product into my skin. So I'm taking a barely damp blender and really buffing it in before we contour and highlight. So foundation is on, looking good. Let's switch to contour. This is Olive, and I'm going to, it's a thicker formula, specifically Olive is a very thick formula, so I'm going to kind of, it looks like I'm really packing it on my brush. I'm not. I'm just making sure there's enough on there. I'm going to take that to my temple and across my forehead. I have a pretty high forehead, so I kind of buff it down, but I try to stay out of, see how bright that center is? We stay out of there because we want that nice and bright. Make sure you get it into your hairline so you have no line of demarcation. And then I love this method for my contour. Have you ever struggled with your contour looking just like a straight line, like it's slashed across your face no matter how well you blend it? I was struggling with that a little bit. It just wasn't sitting as naturally as I liked until I did this. So we're finding our natural shadow, the majority of our product by our ear, and then I'm buffing it in circles. And it's just creating that soft, look how soft it is, that soft shadow. So pretty, so targeted. Everything is where it's supposed to be. We're not layering a bunch of product. And then I'll just flick it upward. Dragging it under our jaw. And the same on this side, making sure that we start by our ear and kind of swirling forward. It's just such a light contour. I'm actually finding people are using more bronzer than contour these days even. So a light contour can look really pretty and natural, or even maybe just using bronzer. If you're not into contour, use bronzer. Again, along the jaw. And then I like to take a little bit down the sides of my nose before I highlight. Now you'll notice I'm not cleaning my brush between, because no matter what brush you really use, these products don't stick into the brush. You can tell my brush isn't loaded with product. What you're putting on is getting on your face, which is good. So now I'm going to go ahead and highlight. I'm going to use the Moonlit highlight. It is the lightest color we have at the moment. And I'm going to kind of tap it under my eye. And using that kind of stamping and motion more than sweeping, because we already have product there we don't want to move, because I did not set my face yet. Just adding a light bit of brightness here. Going to the side of my nose and coming pretty far down. I like a nice triangle of light here, and that's my preference, but I think it looks so pretty and adds a little bit of a look of I slept even though I didn't, because my kids have been sick for weeks. Nice light bright forehead and center of my face. Now, the last step we will do will be our blush, which is actually also lipstick, but I won't be using this color on my lips because we're looking for a natural look today. This is Saffron. It is a beautiful red with like a berry tone to it. And I really like this brush for this method of applying blush. It's just the size of it is really nice. And I'm sure that Maskcara's BBF is very much similar. And just kind of bringing it back. And it just gives this beautiful rosy flush that is great for winter. Again, is softening everything out. And then I will set my face. I've been using no Stay Spray lately. My preference has leaned more towards just a little bit of a loose powder. I love Tarte's. I think this one's called Smooth Operator. It's an Amazonian clay. It's blurring. I like it a lot for under my eye. I put it on the back of my sponge and kind of set it in. It is a very finely milled powder, so it can get a little dusty, so a little goes a very long way. I'm just setting where it is highlighted. And with that and the right colors, your makeup will last all day, but if you prefer a setting spray, we do have a really great one. And then for my lips, I am just going to use two products that I actually, well, one is, you know, just a gloss, but this lip liner by Wet n Wild, it's a gel lip liner in the color Bare to Commit, is my absolute favorite for an everyday look, and I have it in my personal and my freelance kit. And you'll see how much why I just love it. I'm not overlining my lips, but I do have a smaller mouth, so I go just on the line, maybe slightly outside, but not by much. And then I'm just using a Wet n Wild clear gloss. And I'm done. Super easy. I'm not even using an illuminator today. You can certainly add that to the high point of your cheek, but I will kind of see if I can get a little closer so you can look at the coverage. So if you're with me here and you struggle with redness or the overly cakey look of makeup, don't feel like this makeup can't work for you. Message me, we'll talk about what you have, what you need, and I'm happy to help you. I appreciate you all for watching, and I hope you have a good day.